Listen up or run for cover. Dropping knowledge from the people who have it to the people who need it. The real Bradley is dropping
What it is, Brad Lee back again with another episode of Dropping Bombs. Today in the studio, kids, I've got a real treat for you. His name's Mohamad Younes. Now, he's only been to America. You're an immigrant for about 2-3 years ago.
2.5 years ago.
Just freaking brand new here. Doesn't know jack diddly except for, man, this is a whole lot of opportunity over yonder way. You're from originally Lebanon?
Correct.
So you came here from Lebanon.
Correct.
Obviously, you already spoke English quite well.
I didn't speak English. I knew English, so we learned English at school, but I never practiced it. But I knew the language.
Yeah, because you're pretty good at it in 3 years.
Yeah.
All right. So anyway, he came over, was a nurse, mastered nursing, and then started helping people pass nursing exams because it was like, apparently you spend $100,000 and they don't even guarantee you graduate the exam. So it's like, here, go to my nursing school, and when you graduate, go take the test that you'll fail. Trick. So you started to say, hey, man, let me teach people how to get this done. So you went and started teaching people how to pass the exam, and then boom, overwhelming success. These nurses, or these potential nurses, started passing their exams with flying colors.
Correct.
And then you just built a whole business around that and stopped nursing.
I retired nursing, yes.
Now, when we say, retired nursing, stop nursing is a bad thing to say?
No, it's the same thing, but it's cooler to be like retired nursing at the age of 36.
Okay. You're retired. All right. I thought stop nursing was the same thing, but okay. Because like I used to sell cars. I was a career salesperson. Then I stopped selling cars. But really, I retired, didn't I?
Yeah.
I like that. Anyway, folks, if you guys don't know him, okay, again, I call him Mo, but his name's Mohamad Younes, and he's basically living the American dream, kicking ass, making millions, or getting
there.
Yeah, getting there. He's got the Ferrari. He's got all the cool shit. Now he's starting to leverage social media, becoming a real celebrity. You find him on Instagram at Alpha Slice, which is his nickname, Alpha Slice.
Yeah, that's the brand.
Yeah, because everyone can get a slice of alpha if you want some.
Correct.
I like that. And then ultimately, you help nurses.
I help nursing students to pass their license exam. So as you said, like people go to nursing school, spend 3-4 years, pay, $100K or whatever, and then they go to that damn test and they don't pass it. They take it again, they don't pass it.
And the school doesn't keep educating them until they can?
No, that's it. When you finish nursing school, you're on your own.
Yeah, but when you finish nursing school, doesn't the school have an obligation to make sure you understand how to nurse?
So during nursing school, they try to do that by giving you tests and whatever. And, a lot of times.
Yeah, but is it $100,000 if they do it? It should be free unless you can do it.
Yeah, no, you pay the $100K.
Dude, that's a ripoff.
Dude, I learned nursing back home 4 years for $1,000, a bachelor degree. $1,000. And that's what I told my international nurses.
Now,
right?
let me ask you this real quick. If I show up and take the test and pass, am I a nurse or do I have to go to school?
No, you have to go to nursing school.
Why? See, again, that's another stupid ass thing.
Because you have to learn.
No. It doesn't matter how I learned, bro. What matters is that I know. So if I take a nursing exam, legit, no cheating, and I know everything you do, who gives a shit if I went to school or not? I know everything you do. So if I know everything you do, doesn't that make me a nurse?
No,
yes,
it
does. A license makes me a nurse.
Let me tell you.
And if I know everything you do, what makes you any better just because you went to school? What if someone came up and just snapped their fingers and I knew everything? What does it matter how I learned it? I know it, and I know it just like you. Shouldn't it just be you're a nurse if you can demonstrate the knowledge?
Yeah. So the test examines your knowledge, but not your clinical skills.
Yeah.
And what you're going to do in hospitals is you're going to take care of patients.
Isn't that why you intern, though?
Yeah, and that's what happens during nursing school, not afterwards.
And what could happen if you do some of the nurse functions and duties improperly?
People might die.
Well, let me ask you a question because.
But let me explain.
I knew a nurse one time, and I asked her, so what do you have to do? She basically started telling me she gives all these freaking old dudes a bath and shit.
Yeah.
And I'm like, you give old dudes a bath? And they're like, yeah. And I'm like, well, did any of them ever like get a boner? Because you're basically, you're washing them, aren't you?
Yeah.
They're like, yeah. And I'm like, did any of them ever get a freaking rager? And she said, yeah. And I said, and what'd you do? And she said, well, I would carry around a number 2 pencil in my pocket like this. And whenever we saw someone with a hard boner, I'd crack it on the head with the number 2 pencil and it'd go right down. Yeah. And I said, shut up. And she said, yeah. I said, you're telling me that a nurse can come in. I'm a patient at wherever you work and I get a boner because, well, you're rubbing my wiener, my genitalia. It tends to get hard if it works properly. And then you would take out a pencil and whack it. And she said, yeah. Now, is there truth to that or is that total bullshit?
It's BS. So let me tell you.
Have you heard of anything like that?
No. So this is like what you're talking about is someone who's going through nursing school, so he has to do those tasks. But a nurse,
why'd you say he? This was
he or she.
This was a she.
Because
I'm a nurse, I ain't doing none of this stuff.
Yeah. But a nurse, like that's a nurse assistant or unlicensed nurse assistant or maybe a licensed practical nurse, but not a real nurse because there's a lot that goes into nursing.
A real nurse is like almost a doctor.
It's not. It's a different profession, but a nurse who takes care of the patient, monitors their signs and symptoms, monitors their.
But there's medical knowledge there.
Yeah,
it's not
100%.
Just clean bedpans and bring in the food.
That's not a nurse.
No,
that's a nurse assistant or.
Well, what's the difference
nurse.
between a registered nurse and any other kind? Like when they say you're a registered nurse.
So that's the top of the chain.
I know, but when you say registered, what other kind of nurse is there?
So there's like a licensed practical nurse. There is a nurse assistant and unlicensed nurse assistant.
And?
That's it.
And then a registered nurse.
Then a registered nurse, which is top of the chain.
Then what about a physician's assistant? Is that better than a nurse?
They don't have nursing job.
Can nurses write prescriptions?
No.
Oh, well then a PA is better.
Yeah, but PA does not study nursing.
So PA is better.
Whatever. I mean,
we get better considered to who?
No, but I mean,
someone that needs a nurse, a PA ain't better. But what's funny is like anytime someone thinks they can write a script, that gives them power.
Yeah.
Like
it doesn't.
Well, I know, but they think it can.
Yeah.
So like a PA can prescribe. Dude, that PA's feeling pretty cool about themselves.
I mean, they can.
Do they make more than a nurse?
No,
PA?
they don't.
Dude, if I could prescribe medication, dude, I'd make more than fucking everybody.
Yeah.
I'd probably go to jail for it, but I'd open up shop and be like, "What do you need? Need a little testosterone? Looks like you could use some HGH, sir. Okay, let me write you a prescription for HGH. What do you need? Little Adderall? You a little tired? Here, let me get you that." Whee!
Listen. Let me tell you about nurses. Nurses is all about the art of caring. Period.
Taking care of people.
Yeah. So you know all the knowledge, and then if you're giving a medication and you care about that patient, you monitor for side effects, and you observe those side effects, and you catch them early, and you intervene in the right time. So this when they say nurses save lives, it's because of that. Because
nurses saved my son's life when they had a blood transfusion because the nurse, turns out the nurse was one of the people that gave blood.
Yeah. So when we do something, dude, it's like we guard it with our life. Like it doesn't matter how much you're paying us. Like, so I'm an oncology nurse. I work in a cancer center. I used to work, so I'm a certified pediatric hematology oncology nurse in the United States. I used to work with oncology patients. Dude, I save lives every single day. So if at that moment, on that day, I was not there, dude, that patient might have died because I was there and I care.
Didn't that feel good though?
I mean, the only thing you get from nursing is moral satisfaction.
Yeah.
Period.
Well, I always like nurses because they help save my kid, and every time I'm in the hospital, which has been never except for a few, but I've always liked nurses myself. Now, after a while, they started being male nurses.
Yeah.
When people say nurse, you think female. Why? Nurse. Not lately, but 10, 20 years ago for sure.
Correct.
So why didn't you ever decide, let me go doctor? Let me go to the doctor category. Because ironically, when you say doctor, people assume a male. Isn't that crazy?
Yeah.
Like I used to tell people this joke I heard. It's not even a joke. It's a riddle, but people can't ever get it. It's crazy. Let me see if you get it. You probably have heard it, but let me see if you get it. A doctor got in a car accident. Hold on, let me think how it goes. Yeah, a doctor was driving and got in a car accident. So they got rushed to the hospital. They walk in to the hospital, and the doctor, I don't even remember how it went. But the punchline is, I can't operate on this boy. He's my son. And when you already said the doctor, and you can't imagine it's his mom. But that's the answer. The doctor's his mom. Ooh, how is it his mom? Because you said doctor. Well, dude, doctor makes you think man. Nurse makes you think woman.
Yeah.
Not anymore so much, but 20 years ago for sure. Why didn't you become a doctor?
Yeah. So I was living in Lebanon, 1999, my parents went through a divorce, and that was the time I finished high school. So I spent a year, like, we're not living with my mom, we're not living with my dad, because dad came to the States and, tried to, after divorce, there's a lot of like lawsuits or whatever. So he bounced, he ran away. What I tell him, like, I'm good with my dad now, but like, he ran away from his responsibility, which is 5 kids, right? And we were staying at our house, but the first floor is our grandparents. And I was like, spending time at the beach, playing basketball and stuff like that. And then my uncle, he said, dude, my uncle is an orthopedic surgeon. And he said, dude, what are you doing? Come to my clinic. So I came to his clinic, and he said, dude, you finished high school, you want to go to college, what are you going to do? Because my dad is an architect and my oldest sister is an architect. So I always was built to think like an architect and be an architect. So I went to, I said, I don't know. He said, all right, there's this nursing school, which is public school, right? Go see not nursing school, but it's called the University of Public Health. Mm-hmm. So they have different majors like physical therapy, nursing, laboratory, stuff like that. He said, go check what majors are there. Give me a call back. So he gave me pocket money. Went there. The only English major was nursing, and the other stuff were French. So I had no choice. 2,000 people apply for that test, and they only take 20. And I was 9 on the list. So I took the test. He paid for it like $15 or something. And that's how I got into the major. The first year...
You mastered the test.
Yeah. So it's a test that has to do with high school, not with nursing. But the first year I was going like door to door, filling surveys, just doing something to earn more money. Mm-hmm. And they were giving me like $2 a survey. And I was like, dude, as much doors as I can knock, I'm knocking. So I was skipping school. So that's why I failed first year. And then I went at it 4 years, passed it, $1,000. And then that's what I told my international students. Like, when you got a nursing degree from overseas, like, this is a gold mine in your hand. All you have to do is pass the TAM test. So if you're an international nurse, all you have to do is pass an English test, the NCLEX, which is the license exam, and you can start your immigration process. So you did your part. The rest is just a process.
Because we need more nurses?
100%. There's shortage everywhere.
Yeah, but that's so if you're not from here and you want to come here, get your nurse's degree or whatever.
That's the easiest way to come here as a skilled immigrant.
Yeah. And then obviously we got ways open because of those.
There's a lot of opportunity. They're taking nurses from overseas right and left.
Wow.
Yeah, the process
takes
takes
little things like that you don't even know that's happening unless you're in those worlds.
Yeah, and that's a big business for recruiting agencies. Sure. They make, like, the agency that brought me in the country was evaluated at $90 million.
What'd they charge you to do it?
0.
Someone paid them.
Yeah. No, so this is the easy part. That's why I tell this is a gold mine, because they charge me nothing, not for immigration fees or lawyers or whatever. They pay for everything. They even pay for your NCLEX, for your license exam. But the hook is, when I came into the country, so they assign you to whatever state they want, wherever they have vacancies. So they assigned me to Champaign, Illinois, into a cancer center, and they pay me $24 an hour, but they charge the hospital $50 an hour, right? So they charge the hospital $50, they pay me $24, they keep the rest for a course of 2 years. So I was making around like $50K a year but they were making another 50 on me. So over 2 years, they make a lot of money, and they bring so every 2 weeks they have like 30 international nurses every 2 weeks that's coming in, which is huge.
Interesting.
Yeah.
So you've heard dropping bombs before, yay or nay?
Oh yeah, man, dude. I have heard every episode. You can start a sentence, I can complete it. I found you 2 years ago.
Oh yeah?
Yeah.
All right. So you already know then this whole episode should be based on what challenges, problems, situations that we've either experienced or figured out how to overcome. And then we chit-chat about it. So you got any problems? You got any challenges? Or do you know of any? Or do you see any, observe any, notice any?
Yeah, dude. Like, you know, I mean, I told you a little bit about my story in the green room, but, you know, when I came to the United States, I was not chasing to be a nurse, right? I was only chasing success. And I was telling Uriel. Uriel.
Well, unless you're from Mexico, then it's Uriel.
Uriel. Yeah, I was telling him, dude, like when I was back home, the way I was living on the floor, like I had no furniture, right? All I had is
But
this.
we've all been there, right?
Yeah, not in Lebanon. Like a lot of nurses, they make money, they can afford furniture.
Oh, you mean in Lebanon you were a nurse and you were broke?
Yeah.
Okay.
Life took turns, but the last 2 years back home, I was living on the floor, no furniture, I've got a couple of kids. My wife is a nurse as well. And I was not happy. I was depressed. Always thinking about, hey, I want to come to the United States because that's the land of opportunities, right? So I knew that my degree is going to get me in. But once I'm in, dude, nursing is not what I'm looking at, right? People see me that I have a great education style. I see your weaknesses. I can improve them. You know, I can make anything happen. Dude, you give me a fifth grader, I can help them pass their NCLEX. Because the NCLEX exam is
what's an NCLEX?
Which is the nursing test. The NCLEX is just tricks and, you know, like it's a game that you play. If you learn how to play the game, you learn the rules, dude, you can pass. That's why I tell people, like, give me a fifth grader, I can help them pass the NCLEX. But that doesn't mean that they are a great nurse or a nurse, right? So came to the country and I was chasing success. Back home, in my heart, from the inside, I knew I'm a Ferrari. Dude, I can hear the roar inside of me. But you put a Ferrari in an alley, which is back home, can you test its potential? You cannot. But dude, you bring me to the United States and you put me on a highway, dude, I'm freaking dangerous. Like I'm unstoppable, right? The only thing I tell people, I was born in the wrong country. But if I was born here, I'm already a millionaire. I'm already friends with Brad, Ed Milet, Grant Cardone, all those kind of dudes, right? Because I have that mindset. But
you just named all my friends.
Yeah, I know, man.
Okay.
I know. So, and that's the environment that I want to surround myself with, right? I don't want to surround myself with a bunch of colleagues, which I don't have friends. I had 2 friends back in, you know, 5th grade. I had a couple in university, and I didn't have friends since then. Because, dude, I'm thinking on a different level. And every single colleague, I call them, right? They tell me to slow down. Like, or go get a master's degree or a PhD. Dude, that's not gonna get me anywhere. To get paid from, let's say, $40 an hour to 50 to 80, that's still a job. You're locked in a place, right? I'm thinking way bigger. Like, I want financial freedom. And that's what I discovered when I came to the United States. I thought coming to the States is the American dream. Dude, it's not. Fuck. I was like, earning $50K, I have to pay bills, rent, living in this 2-bedroom, 1-bath. I've got 3 kids now. Now I have 4, but, you know, at that time, 2 years ago, I had 3. And, dude, the money's not enough.
No
right?
Rari.
No Rari. So
What kind of Ferrari you got? 488? What is it?
458 Italia.
458.
Yeah.
Screwed up.
What's
I just don't like the 458.
You don't?
I mean, I like it. It's a Ferrari, dude. I like all Ferraris. I like California. I like them all. But I wouldn't buy a California because that's an entry level.
Yeah.
You need a 488 or a 458 or up or above. So to me, like the 488 is the more sexier version of the 458. However, I saw a 458 Spider the other day that was just freaking stupid looking. Awesome.
Yeah.
But anyway, I prefer the 488. But the 458, yeah, I still like it.
Yeah, dude, I'm not a car guy.
When did you decide to buy that? After you talked to Albert?
Yeah.
So Albert said, "Hey, why don't you take some money and buy a Ferrari and get some attention?"
He did, yeah,
Did it
100%, 100%.
So now everybody wants to know you.
Every nurse in the country wants to take my course. Not nurse, but every nursing student in the country wants to take my course because they think if they become a nurse, they can own a Ferrari, which is true. But you become a nurse, that's level 1. And then, which is my next project, the School of Nurse Entrepreneurship, which I'm so passionate about.
So how do you make money being a nurse?
100%. So a nurse, you don't have to work overtime. You don't have to burn out, miss holidays with your kids just because you want to make more money. Dude, there's a lot of ways for you to make money. And that's what I want to teach you.
As a nurse?
Not as a nurse, but dude, if you want your company to explode, you want salespeople, hire a nurse. Dude, because they build relationships. They network. They follow up. They care with your customers. And, I found that the hard way because the first guy...
You bought my book?
Yeah, I bought your book. It's not out yet, but
That's why I named it The Hard Way. So every time someone said, I learned the hard way, I'm going to be like, oh, you got my book?
Yeah. No, I got your book. But yeah, I'm so excited for your book to come out because, dude...
It's going to be a good.
Yeah. I mean, I have no doubt it's going to be good.
And there'll be limited editions because they're pre-orders.
Yeah.
So the pre-orders are going to be special editions.
Yeah. Dude.
But anyway, so keep going. So you're going to teach them how to make money as a nurse without busting their ass. So they get to help people, they get to follow their dreams, and then you're going to show them how to be an entrepreneur as a nurse and make a ton extra dough without killing yourself.
Correct.
How you do that?
Because there's a lot of opportunity, dude. You can do what I do. Anything that you're passionate about, you can flip it and dude, there's problems all over the country. Just find a problem, solve it, build a course around it, or offer a service, and you can do it. But there are, nurses don't know shit about business, right? So there are fundamentals for business, and that's what I want to teach you. And then I'll give you the opportunities out there, and then you can find whatever opportunity that suits you.
Can you teach me how to generate leads?
I can do that. And that's part of what I'm going to teach. But that's not business, generating leads.
That's what matters sometimes.
If you have an idea. So let me take you back a little bit. Nurses don't know what is a website, what's the difference between a website and a landing page. They don't know how to edit a video or shoot a video, or they don't know what the term upsell means. They don't know when someone is trying to sell them or close them. So they don't know that terminology. So you have to start all the way from scratch, from the bottom. So I know that because that's how I started. My first video that I edited took me 14 hours to edit. That's a lot. That's a long time. A lot of people would have given up, but dude, if it took me 2.5 years to get to this level where I make around 100K a month, I own a Ferrari, I retired my nursing, my wife retired her nursing job, my mom is retired because of me, I've got 4 kids that I'm taking care of, and I live in San Diego, California, which is a dream of every single international nurse out there, because all we know about the United States are Florida, California, and New York, right? So if you want to accomplish those, dude, nursing is not going to accomplish that for you. So you need to learn another skill. The more skills you learn, the better you are. And you need to have things in-house, right? So when I talk about marketing, when I talk about video, editing, if those are, a third party, that shit is going to take a lot of time. And in this era, it's all about speed of execution. So you don't need to rely on someone else outside of your company or your house or your office or whatever, and wait for them to edit your video and put your ad up. Because, dude, I can shoot an ad, edit it, and upload it in like 2 hours, and then spend $100 and see if that ad works or not. So if you're doing that out, as a third party, that might take 2 weeks. Dude, I want to figure shit out very quickly. So what I'm going to teach in the School of Nurse Entrepreneurship is, what it took me 2.5 years to learn, from the basics up, I can teach that to someone in like 2 to 3 months. And you don't have to waste money on wrong resources or courses or whatever is on the internet. I'll give you the bread and butter, and then you can spend your money on mentors instead of spending your money on courses or on those fake Instapreneur, right? So I want to surround everyone with people, that I know. And I was lucky. I met Gary Vee, on social media first, started listening to him, met Andy Frisella, then Billie Jean from Andy Frisella. Then Billie Jean changed my life when he taught me how to get more exposed to people, because I was spending $10 on an ad, and he jumped on a call with me and he gave me 3 tips. I was making $3,000, and then with the first tip that I used, I went from $3,000 to $25,000 a month. So it was not about the value of the product that I was selling. It was, I don't have enough exposure. Instead of spending $10 a day, he said, go spend $100 a day. And then instead of being in front of 100 people, you can be in front of 1,000. So he said, if you're selling your course for $400, for example, and you spend $100, you get to pocket $300 if you sell one person. So what's the chances? If you are in front of 100, can you sell one person? What about 1,000? Can you sell one person? Dude, I said 100%, man. If you put me in front of 1,000 people, there's no way I cannot sell at least one person. And that's what I started doing, spending more money on ads, and my revenue started going up. And from there, dude.
So why'd you stop?
I didn't stop.
So what's your ad budget this month?
So I spend around $500 a day.
500 what?
$500 a day.
Why don't you spend 5,000 a day?
So as we were talking about in the green room, I need to hire more people to take care of support for those students, because me on my own, like me and my wife, we can't give the value that I want to give for every single student. So when a student asks a question, I don't want to send an emoji or a thumbs up or answer with a simple word. Like, I want to explain to him, his issue, his inquiry, so that I give him value. Because that's the people that I taught. And that's my power, testimonial videos. I have like 800 testimonial videos just in the last year of people who passed. And they are saying, oh my God, like as if they're getting one-on-one coaching, right? So they get my training, they watch my courses, but then if they have questions, they ask me. Now, dude, I'm going to change this whole thing. I want to scale up. Like I'm helping around like 200 to 300 people a month. Dude, I want to scale that up to like 30,000 people a month. And the only way to scale that is with, light speed. When I get interactive training where I can track, monitor, and observe everything that the student is doing. So if they are not on the right track and I pull the report, hey, I can give them a call and say, hey, you're not on track. You need to get on track. And then I can give them some inspirational talk instead of an educational talk, right? Because they are not committed, because there are a lot of people get distracted nowadays. And instead of spending 4 weeks to 8 weeks studying for their test, they get distracted with like the holidays. Dude, on the holidays, we were teaching. Christmas, we were teaching. New Year, we were teaching, right? So every night.
Teaching on what? Like a webinar?
On my webinar. So it's I'm value driven, and I want the student to get as much value as possible. And then when you become a nurse, then you become a lifetime customer of mine, because then I'm going to show you the real deal, which is the School of Nurse Entrepreneurship, where, you're going to take care of yourself and your kids, and you're not going to work Christmases and New Year's and miss events with your kids and stuff like that just to make more money. And you know what? That will improve medical errors. People make nurses, and that's a fact, right? I've been a nurse for 13 years. And every time an error happens is when a nurse is working an extra shift, right? If they work 3 shifts a week, the error happens on their 4th shift or their 5th shift. So that will decrease error. Dude, you don't have to kill yourself, because when you say 12-hour shift, it's different from your 12-hour shift, right? You can chill down, check your Facebook, do your social media, go hang out with this and that. Like when you're a nurse, dude, you're standing for 12 hours. You're giving medication for 12 hours. You're doing procedures for 12 hours, assisting, this and that. So it's like a real 12-hour shifts. And that's why I tell you, work ethic, if you want to have a salesperson, you won't find a better work ethic than with nurses. Dude, because they have tremendous work ethic. And, if I give nurses my knowledge about entrepreneurship and business with their core values and work ethic, dude, no nurse in the country needs to work another shift anymore or an extra shift anymore. True, man.
Well, and you're proving it, aren't you?
100%. I have big visions, big dreams, and I just want to help every nurse in the country. You know, when I came to the United States, I used to say, I want to be the face of international nursing. Dude, I shifted my perspective. 2020. I want to be the face of nursing in the United States, not just the face of international nursing. So every nurse in the country is going to know about me. My system is going to be in every nursing school in the country because I genuinely want to help students pass their test, go on with their life. Because I've got some hopeless cases where people took the test like 10 times, 12 times, and then they gave up, right? They said, I don't want to do that shit anymore because it's on their psychology and their mental, what do they call it? Mental psychology.
Duress.
What's that?
Yeah.
It's devastating, dude. Every single day of their life, if they move on, they know they're a quitter. They quit on a profession, right?
And
they
failure.
They quit on a career.
And a loser.
100%. And when they find me on the internet, I've got students who quit on nursing for 10 years, and then they found me. They said, "Oh my God, you know what? I think God answered my prayers," and they take my test and they pass, and dude, their whole life will change. Because if you're working in a convenience store or as a CNA and making $30,000 a month, at $30,000 a year, dude, just imagine how your life would be when you start making $80,000.
How many times will I have failed before I should buy your course? Should I try to do it on my own without you?
Dude, so when we started talking about social media marketing, I started targeting nursing schools now. Dude, I want you to find me from the get-go. Why go through all those emotions that comes with failing? Because it's devastating. It's depressing.
That's true.
I want you to find me from the get-go, right? Know about me from the get-go. And then if you want to take a chance and do it on your own, because a lot of A students say, hey, you know what? I got straight A's. And then they take the test, boom, they fail.
Got it.
Because it's a different game, right? There's a lot of tricks when it comes to the NCLEX.
So who's the first person you said you were watching somebody on social media? Gary V.
Yeah.
And Gary V led you to Andy Frisella.
Yeah.
And Andy Frisella led you to Billie Jean.
Correct.
And Billie Jean led you to who?
So Billy to everyone, because like he's friends with everyone. He got pictures with everyone, and you know I knew about you from Billie Jean.
How did Billie Jean bring me up?
No, one way or another. I don't remember exactly.
Yeah.
But
so Billie Jean told you, hey, there's a Brad Lee.
No, he didn't tell me, dude. You know, I always tell people
being exposed to him.
Yeah, you don't need to have high IQ to be successful in the United States. All you need is high EQ, right? For the longest time, my mom used to tell me like stop trying to immigrate to the United States. The United States, because that's how we see it, is only for the high IQ people, right? And now I'm here, and you know, when I started my entrepreneurship journey, I said, Mom, you're right. Like I don't have high IQ, but guess what? I have high EQ, because I study people. I observe what you're doing. You know, the only reason I started working for Billie Jean is, dude, I want to surround myself with that culture, you know, but what you see on social media is different from when you're in-house. And then I want to observe how he operates. I want to see how he talks to his employees, because I'm an observer. And then I don't reinvent the wheel. And that's everything I did, dude. I didn't reinvent the wheel. Everything I learned, okay, Andy says, do this, do that, about mindset, about, you know, whatever, following up, about thank you cards, like handwritten notes, send them to your students, ask for their address. Dude, I do that shit, and it works, because you build that connection with your student. Even if, which those are a handful of students in 2019 who failed, out of like 1,000 that I taught. Dude, they blame themselves. They don't blame me, because I already built that relationship. And I already gave them the value. And then they say, you know what, Mo? I should have done that. I should have been more on top of things. I should have asked more questions, you know, followed up with you more, and all this kind of stuff, right? And how did I do that? Is by, you know, telling them my story, telling them that I'm a real person, dude. I'm not here after the money. They know about my kids. They know about my journey. They know about my successes. They know about all that stuff. And, dude, that thank you card, people think that it's not a big deal. It is a big deal. When someone gets a purchase, let's say they bought my course today, what I do, I put them on Excel sheet. I mean, I'm still like, manual a lot, but I put them on an Excel sheet, and I write a handwritten note. I thank them for their purchase, thank them for their trust. I feel so humbled that they joined my course, and I tell them I'm going to change their life. And there's a thank you from, I say, my wife thanks you because you're supporting me. That's how we live, right? And sign it, put some stickers on it, put some hearts, and I mail it to them 5 to 10 days after the purchase. Dude, that triggers a lot of emotions. So when they purchase, they are already emotional, right? Then you leave it for like 5 to 10 days. Then you send them another thank you note that triggers another emotion that builds that trust, that loyalty. And if it's handwritten, it's not typed. And there's a picture of me and my kids here. Like now the new one, it has me and my Ferrari with my daughter. And then the core values of my company, which every company should have core values. And then handwritten note. Dude, they love me for that. I send them a little mug, a wristband, just to remind them, hey, NCLEX, I need to pass my NCLEX, right? Dude, they love me for that. It's just simple shit that you do. It takes a lot of time on my part, right? It's not automated, but that's what, helped me with the referrals. Like a lot of people say, hey, this dude referred me, and I give $100 for every person who refers another student. So I sell my course for, let's say, $400 or $600. You refer a student, I give you $100, right? So that's what I do, man. Value driven. I want to build a relationship. I want to help people. And those mindset issues that I learned from people like you, from your podcast, dude, when I'm on a run, my 2 favorite podcasts are Dropping Bombs and the Andy Frisella, the MFCEO project, right? Now I hear the Real AF, right? But dude, you guys keep guys like me going. You are responsible for my success. Like I wouldn't have known the stuff that I know, right, about business, about mindset, if it wasn't for people like you, like Andy, right, like Ed Milet. And that's, on my vision board, if you see my vision board for 2020, dude, I'm already friends with you guys because I want to be on that level. Like when I hear a story about Grant Cardone and, a million people would hear the same story and they say, like, he lost his dad, drug addict, rehabilitation center, sales job, and whatever. And then, age of 51, he owned his jet. And now he has like 14 companies and he makes zillions of dollars. And people don't relate with that. That could be any one of us. So I know that I'm going to be the next Grant Cardone. I know, I already committed to it that I'm going to own my first jet by the age of 50. I'm going to beat Grant Cardone. Dude, if he can do it with that environment, dude, I can do it. I mean, I was not abused. I've never used drugs. I've never drank alcohol. I've never smoked. So I have a lot of genetics or a lot of, so they went through what they call rock bottom, right? Like when you were at the beach, right? People say that's rock bottom. You say, no, it's not, because it's all perspective, right? So for me, I don't have to reach rock bottom to go, to the top of the chain, right? I just learned from those people. I say, oh my God, like I'm 36. I'm already advanced a little bit because, I didn't go through that hardship. I was just born in the wrong country. Now, with social media, I mean, I don't remember pre-internet a lot or pre-social media, right? But now with social media, dude, like you can get into the knowledge from anyone and everyone. And you guys are putting so much free knowledge out there that for me, it's like crazy, man. Like, why you're not listening to those people? Like, I don't have a TV at my house. I've never had a TV for like 6 years. I don't listen to news. Like the other day, I was at the grocery store and, one of the cashiers was telling me she lives in my neighborhood and she was like someone, overdosed or whatever. Like, I don't hear that shit because she saw it in the news. I'm focused. I'm tunnel focused. Where are my goals? How can I achieve them? What's the vehicle that I need to get on? For example, 2020, it's for example, my coach, my mentor, Albert, and then I've got Lightspeed. Those are what's going to take me to the next level. And that's what I focus on.
Explain the mentor program. You recommend mentors?
100%,
coaching?
Yeah.
So you did it with my boy Albert?
Yeah, so I did it initially with Billie Jean. You know, I paid for his courses, I paid for his events, I went to the studios, I paid for airfare, I paid for hotels, just to surround myself with that environment. And sometimes, you know, I just get one tip. So like I invested around like $4,000 back when I didn't have money, right? Back in January, $4,000 in one event. It's called a shadow day at Billie Jean. The whole day you shadow different departments. I came out with one tip, only one tip. Took my revenue from 30K to 40K, which is to have daily targets and do whatever the fuck it takes to get your target on that day. And you know, when you talk about that, you know, people say, oh, hit your targets, cool. But what are the technical stuff? What are the techniques? How are you going to go about it to hit your target? Okay, let's say $1,000 today. That's your target. How you go about it? You wake up, you wait whole day. Oh, did I hit my target? Oh, I missed it. No, it's not that. So what I do is 12 noon, if I didn't hit my target, I go to my email list. I sit down, write an email, persuasive email, put testimonial video to it, and send it to my email list. I wait an hour or two. I didn't hit my email list. What do I do? Dude, I go live on Facebook or YouTube or Instagram, try to teach something for free, and then pitch at the end. Wait for a couple hours. I didn't do anything. Like, I didn't hit my target. I increased my ad revenue. 7 p.m. I didn't hit my target. Dude, I have a huge pipeline of people who want my help. All I do is pick up the phone, start calling people, right? And handling their objection. Hey, why you didn't join? You've been on my list for like 6 months. Did you pass your NCLEX? Not yet. I tell them, hey, how much money are you wasting in RN money in 6 months? Dude, that's like 50K, right? Why are you leaving that money on the table? Because you don't want to invest like $200 or $300 or $400, and I have payment plans for you.
What's 200?
So the payment plans, like start with $219 and then pay another $219 in 30 days, and you can get the value. You can get the course.
Yeah. But coaching and mentoring, that's people's time. So you paid Albert X amount of bucks, and Albert met with you, and then what? Told you how to do what?
So this is how he do it. So when he did the coaching, he didn't know what he's going to do, right? It's a new industry. He doesn't know anything about it. So for the first, let's say 40 minutes, he was just listening to me. He was listening to my story, listening to my business, and he was trying to highlight if I have systems or what's the business model. How do I get leads? Where do they go? What do I sell? For how long? And how do I keep up with support or whatever? So he understood all that. And then he said that you have scalable business, right? So all you need to do is hire more people. So hire more salespeople instead of hiring, let's say, customer service and a videographer, because I know how to do that shit. He said, hire more salespeople.
You couldn't realize that on your own?
I couldn't. And
because why though?
So my thinking was, I'm taking a lot of time in editing and, you know, making videos and content. So I wanted to hire a video guy. And then he said, and I don't sell, like, I don't call people to sell. Dude. And I'm not sure if I invented that or it's brand new, where I sell people through chat. Like, I don't call people. I don't stay on the phone with them for like 4 or 5, not 4 or 5, but for like 30 minutes or an hour, because I worked for Billie Jean, right? And that's the best mentorship, is go work for someone who you would like to become, right? I worked for Billie Jean for the experience and stuff. Sometimes I stay on the phone for like an hour. This lady in UK, I spent an hour and a half with her to sell her a product. But that's a long time, man. I don't do that. So what I do, people hit me up. They see my ad, click on it, watch a 2-hour webinar. Then they text me, hey, and then they get on my email list, right? When they get on my email list, I'm sending them emails, like they go into a funnel of they receive at least 9 emails on the next 9 days.
Did you learn all that at Billie Jean?
No, I learned all that by myself.
So what did you learn at Billie Jean's?
So I had to unlearn stuff at Billie Jean.
You had to unlearn what?
I learned it could be right, but it's not for me. Right. Well, so when I went to Billie Jean, I wanted to surround myself with people who are driven and successful. What I found is, maybe you've got Billy, and then you've got a couple more people who are driven, and they know the purpose in life. The others, they just had a job, right? But I thought, from my interactions and when I went to different events over there, I thought like everyone is like that. Like everyone thinks like me. Dude, no, not everyone thinks like you. And that was the problem with my first hire. I thought everyone has the work ethic as a nurse. Dude, no, they don't. Like you need to micromanage people to do the stuff they're supposed to do, right? But anyway, at Billy, the one thing that I figured out is I need to think bigger. Billy is not thinking big enough. I love Billy. Like he totally changed my life, right? But he's not thinking big enough, or he's a little bit.
What do you think his revenues are?
I mean, he posted on Instagram 10 million last year, which is nothing, dude.
A little small.
Yeah, a little small.
But again, still respectable. Again, I know Billy. I've talked to him about a couple of ways of scaling that, but he was busy, and you get busy, and it's hard to sometimes slow down and see the picture when you're inside the frame. You see what I'm saying? So when you say you hire a coach because you wouldn't have been able to do salesman, it's because you're in the business, you're not thinking. Everything's been kind of laid upon you, and things you've seen blocks the ability. Where when you hire someone else sometimes, or you talk to someone else,
which I did.
Yeah.
And that's the advice.
But that's their advantage. They can see things that you might not be able to. Why? I don't know, because maybe they're not inside
it's experience, man.
World.
It's experience because they've gone through it before, and that's what Albert told me. He said, first, my brother-in-law, which I hired, was dragging me down, like a lot of negative energy. He was seeing like I'm making $100K a month, and I'm only giving him $2,000, which back home, $2,000, like a manager of a bank earns $2,000. Dude, that's a freaking lot of money. Like a nurse back home earns $1,200 for a whole month. So I was giving him $2,000, and he wanted a piece of the pie, right? He wanted 5K, 7K. And dude, I can't give you that. And then he started bringing his negative energy, and his work ethic was at the bottom, right? My expectation is that you do this, this, and this. And he was doing nothing, right?
And he expected things.
What's that?
He was expectant.
Entitlement, right? And I'm not sure, but I did it because Billy does it, where you show your employees the target for today. How much money did we make today? And you tell them the target is this, and this is how we do it, right? And then when they see you, you hit $2,000 a month or a day, and then $3,000 a day, and then $5,000 a day, dude, they want a piece of the pie. They don't see that it took me 8 years to immigrate to the United States because I was trying to figure it out on my own. I wish I hired someone.
Yep.
And then in the United States for 2.5 years, dude, I've never left my house. I've been working on building shit. So it's not a matter of today we hit the target. I've been trying to build this thing for 2.5 years, right? So they don't see the hard work. And now when he's hired, like he want a piece of the puzzle. So what Albert told me, he said, this is negative around you. You need to fire that person, which I did. And then he said, you need to start hiring in 2, which is a tip that I would never thought of if he didn't tell me that. So I hired 2 people, my brother and my wife's brother. And dude, now they're competing, and their work ethic is undescribable. Like, dude, they work 15, 16, 17 hours a day because both know where they're at. Like, what are the projects? Like, both know. So I distribute projects, and both know what they accomplished, and they just want to accomplish more just to impress me. And they value the opportunity because I paid a lot of money to learn what I learned today, right? And
so Albert taught you to hire 2 people at a time?
Yeah, so he taught me different stuff. I mean, we just spent 2.5 hours. Like, we spent 1 session with Albert, and I still have 2 other sessions. But he gave me things to read. I'm not a reader, but I started, with Andy Frisella, started reading books, maybe a book a month or a book every 2 months. And now I'm like reading a book every week, right? So Albert gave me tips of what books to read. So he said, dude, start with Blue Ocean Strategy, right? And what Blue Ocean Strategy, taught me is that, I need to find the white space in the market. How can I compete with brands who have been around for like 20 years? right? So and that's how, different ideas from, my product, going into, every nursing school in the country, and then what goes into the product, the support, because, you have to listen to the students. What do they need? They need support. They need an instructor. So I'm going to hire maybe 10
nurses
or 15, not just nurses. I call them alpha slicers, who are my students, former students who passed and who believe in the vision and who just want to help people. So I've got people who referred like 15 and 20 students, right? So I want to hire that person because he believes in the vision, right? And I want to make him a coach. And then I teach him the material, right? The behind the scenes. And then, training, which I'm going to not ever, because I'm going to hire 10 to 15. Dude, I just want to teach one. So I'm going to teach one time. So put my teaching on light speed and then give them access. And then they can watch the training. And boom, they can execute. And if there's anything that they don't understand, they don't have to get back to me or text me. Dude, they go back to the training, right? So as you said, it's repetition. That's what I tell my students, dude. I repeat your words. Repetition is key to success. And a student cannot, cannot retain information without enough repetition, because that's when the magic happens. You need to do enough repetitions so that you memorize, because, nursing is a lot about memorizing, to memorize the information so that when you go to your test, dude, it's second nature. And, my students, when they go to their test, dude, they say, oh my God, it feels as if it's another session of most sessions, right? And that's the idea, is don't feel awkward when you go to your test. Don't feel anxious. I want your self-esteem to be high. And when you go for that test, what I tell them, dude, you go with the mentality that you're passed already and you're just there to collect your license. So what Albert taught me is, so I only spent 2.5 hours with him, and, he talked for an hour. That's it. But he taught me how to fire. What's the plan to fire? Because that dude was living in my house.
How do you fire people? Did he teach you that?
No. So he told me, you're going to pay money to fire that person. So you're going to give him money to let him go.
If you do it right, you mean?
Yeah. If I do, no, it's not if I do it right. I mean, because my brother-in-law was living in my house, right? And I have a home.
So he explained to you, you're going to lose money when you fire him because of the damage and the hassle.
He said, any opportunity that comes up and you can fire him, so fire him. So my brother-in-law came to me and he said,
and is this the first time your brother-in-law listens to this, that Albert's to blame for his firing, for his termination?
Well, dude, I've been, dude, we went to the Driven event. When I met you the first time.
And Albert cost you your brother's job.
No. And we were sitting in the back. Because we booked, your story was like 2 days before the event, right? And we booked general tickets, which is all the way at the back. And we were sitting at the back, and Albert was on stage, and he said, there's some of you in the back who says next year, I'm going to be right here in the front. And there's some of you who are sitting in the back and saying, oh my God, this is fraud. This is scam. Like, you're full of shit, right? Dude, I was that person sitting right there saying, next year, I'm going to be a freaking CEO. And my brother-in-law sitting by my side and saying, there's no way this happened in 6 years.
What happened in 6 years?
Like, Albert went from homeless, living in his truck, to like owning Ferraris and companies and millions of dollars.
So he thought it was bullshit.
Yeah.
Well, why would it be bullshit? Because he didn't think it was possible?
Dude, there's a lot of people who think small and just, I don't know how to say it, like, don't believe.
Yeah. So your brother was thinking of fraud. You were thinking, I'll be up there. So he said, some of you are thinking this, some of you are thinking that. And you thought, holy shit, this dude knows everything.
100%. And when we went back home, we took different notes. So I told my brother-in-law, hey, listen, so we took notes. Let's sit together and see what are things that we can improve and whatever. This day never happened, and he keeps giving excuses. Like, I say, I want you to write 1 email a day. That's your whole job. Monitor the chat, reply to people, copy and paste, right? And then just write 1 email a day. And then it took him 15 days to write the first email, right? It was a shitty email. I'm fine with a shitty email, but it didn't have to take you 15 days. And then when you confront him, now I have to play two roles, right? In our culture, hospitality is big, right? So I want to be a boss, and I want to, like, you're living in my house, so I need to, you know,
be a good hospitable host.
Yeah, host or whatever. So, dude, I was getting depressed.
Quick.
Yeah. So what I did is,
because there was conflictions.
Yeah. So what happened is he said, dude, I'm going to. So my friend in Canada said that immigration to Canada is easy. So I said, dude, great. And that's the part when Albert kicked in, right? I said, dude, great idea, right? Because in the United States, it's hard. In Canada, your friend is saying it's easier. So I'll say, go for it. And you still work for me remotely. And you already know all that shit. I said, cool. I said, all right.
Let's get you up in Canada.
I booked him the ticket. I bought him a laptop so that he can work from Canada.
Yeah.
And he got off the door, you know.
Shipped him off.
I shipped him off. I gave him a couple of days just to feel, you know, my conscience just to feel better. Couple of days, he didn't open his laptop. He didn't reply to any person. And I said, fuck off. That's it. My sister was not happy about it. He was not happy about it. He was blaming me, you know, like he was saying that he's doing a lot of work. No, dude, it's a perspective thing, right?
Yeah. Well, again, I mean, if I was your coach, I might not have coached you to do the same thing as harshly. However, maybe that's what needed to happen. Who knows?
Yeah.
You know, there's a million ways to skin a cat. That's all there is to it. So again, Albert sold you some coaching, basically listened, gave you a test, listened, heard what you were saying, gave you some what sounds like good advice on how to handle it. You executed, because that's the biggest thing. You executed on some of that advice and bam, started winning. And now what? Now where are you?
So he gave me other tips, like start working out, right? So I had like 20.
You didn't know to work out.
No, I've always been like.
He just reminded you.
So when I came to the States, start working, you know, putting those 17, 18 hours a day.
Yeah.
I gained a lot of weight. You know, I didn't pay attention to my health and fitness. And I was like 30 pounds. I gained like 30 pounds in the last 2 years.
Did he give you any books, diets, recipes?
No,
anything?
no, not
Okay.
really. He said, just work out every day.
Yeah, so he says, hey, get fit.
Yeah.
You said, okay.
And then one day, Andy Frisella put a
75.
post. Yeah. He put a post on Instagram, and he's like doing this. And he's saying, I see you. You're procrastinating, or whatever that word is, on 75 hard. You need to start the shit now. And that's the time I started.
And he was talking to you.
Yeah.
So that helped. So then he told you, wait, what point did the Ferrari come into play?
So same meeting, he said, dude, you need to get an office outside. Like, you can't work from your home office.
He wants to make you legit.
Yeah, if you get a room, it doesn't matter, but you need your space. Like, you've got 4 kids, dude. If everyone knocks on the door for like every hour, like, dude, you can't work.
So he told you to get some office and
get an office, and that he said, dude, your business will blow up if you get a Ferrari. Because, I mean, he believes in it, right?
I know he does. That's
Yeah.
what's funny.
Yeah.
And what's funny is he's right when it's like you will get attention of a Ferrari with a Ferrari.
And it worked. It worked because I used to get.
Did you think it worked, or you know it worked?
So if you know me, I don't think.
I know, but it's easy to justify paying for a Ferrari.
Yeah, for a business.
You get to drive it.
Yeah, it is a business expense.
So it's easy to say, oh, it's working, when you don't know for sure it's working.
No, I know for working.
How do you know for sure?
Yeah, I'll tell you. So with me, when I get in touch with people like Billy, like you, like Albert, and even with people on social media, I don't have to interact with them directly, like Andy or Ed. You know, when they come up and say something, dude, I take it to heart. I don't think about it. I just know it's true. I just have to implement it. So that's what I did with the Ferrari. I didn't know if it is true. You know, my wife was like, fuck no, we're not buying a Ferrari. You know, because what Albert said, he said, you go out right now, go to the Beverly Hills office, you know, Ferrari in Beverly Hills. There's this guy there, Philippe, gave me his number, contact him, buy a Ferrari today. I went home. I went to San Diego, right? Next day, he called me. He said, dude, which Ferrari you bought? I said, dude, I didn't go buy a Ferrari. He said, Mo, I thought you're coachable. That hit me, right? So if I have a role model, I always want them to look at me like
you're doing what you're told.
Yeah. So,
Yep.
Dude, that day, same day, went to Ferrari dealership, chose a car, that fits my budget. Because, like there's a whole world about credit, which, dude, thanks to your podcast, I'm staying at the Bellagio, right? I paid $0.
Why?
Because of credit cards.
Rondi Lambeth?
No, not Rondi. Before that,
Carl Scaramuzza?
No. It's
Credit Ninja?
Stephen Liao. Yeah.
Oh, Stephen Lau.
Stephen Liao or Lau.
Stephen Lau.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
see, I'm trying to drop knowledge, folks. That's all I'm doing here. I'm trying to drop knowledge on Dropping Bombs, trying to share the wealth because I'm in the hub of knowledge.
Dude, 100%.
I'm a knowledge broker. See, Dean and Tony started that whole knowledge broker. I've been saying that for years. Like, I am in the knowledge business. I am moving the knowledge from the people who have it to the people who need it with Lightspeed.
Yeah.
I'm a knowledge possessor myself because I can coach you like a son of a bitch, And I'm surrounded by all the experts, which are now all my buddies. So again, a consulting with Albert, technically, you could have just got introduced to somebody that changed your life because I think you're one relationship away from making magic.
True.
So it sounds like you're using all the information. So he told you to go get a Ferrari, and you said fuck, and you tried to make excuses. And then finally, he just said, "Dude," he called you out. So you went and got a Ferrari.
Yeah, I went and got a Ferrari. Went back home. I told my wife, "Okay, we're
now that's probably got to be a $4 or $5 grand payment a month." Yeah.
No, not really.
3 or 4, or you put a shitload down.
So if I didn't know that I know that there's personal credit, there's business credit, which I learned from Ty Lopez and Stephen Liao, and then my business credit more with Rondi, but I didn't know that a car credit exists. So if you go to buy a Ferrari and your last car is a Dodge Grand Caravan for $16,000, dude, they will not sell you a Ferrari. They will go tell you, okay, go upgrade to like a $50,000 car and then to a $90,000 car and then come and buy a $200,000 car, right? And then I said, dude, there's no way.
So what happened? You got declined?
So no, I built a relationship a little bit with the salesman, and then I said, dude, and persistence is big with me. But
not when it comes to credit. Dude, you either qualify or you don't.
No, this is what I said. So my credit is good, right? And my business is having good revenue. And I said, figure out a way, and I'm not leaving if you don't approve me. And he said, you might have to pay like 50%. I said, fuck it. I'll pay 50%. But I want to leave.
Did you save a bunch of money up or something?
Yeah. So I mean,
if you had no money, you wouldn't have been able to get a Ferrari.
100%.
Yeah. So guess what? You could have. You just would have had to come up with a different source.
Yeah. So
point being is you did have the money, so you put like big huge
50%,
deposit.
100K.
So did you buy it or finance it?
Finance it. I mean, lease it.
Yeah, lease or finance.
Lease it. So 100K, and the importance of having a coach. Like, I spent an hour with 2 hours and a half with Brett, with Albert. But when I went to buy a car and they asked me this question, right? Lease or finance, dude? I didn't know.
Well, here's the bottom line with that. If it goes down in value, lease it. If it goes up in value, buy it. What do Ferraris do? Go down or up?
So my Ferrari, it's 2011.
Does it go down or up?
They go down.
Then you lease it.
Yeah.
But you probably did an open-end lease, which is probably the only thing available on a Ferrari, which means you might have got jacked anyway because open-end leases are no good.
But I don't know all that shit.
You better know what the hell you're doing.
So I don't know what I'm doing.
Irrelevant. Is it working? Is it making you money?
Yeah, but the importance of having a mentor is, dude, I texted him.
Oh, he knows what he knew.
Yeah, he knows. You need to know someone who knows.
Yeah.
So I texted him, lease or finance. Same minute, he said lease. I said lease, and then wrote the check, $1,400 a month. Fuck it. I make $3,000. Yeah, whatever.
Now, how do you know?
So this is how I know.
Sold? So
we went to the nearest gas station, and they were filling your Ferrari up with gas, right? My wife stood on the hood.
How much down? 100,000?
100,000.
So you made $100,000 investment.
Yeah.
Into your business.
Correct.
And got a fucking Ferrari to drive to boot.
100%.
And that's what's cool, because I'm going to give away a Ferrari for a 3-month sales contest downstairs. I'm going to buy the Ferrari cash. It's a cash. I mean, you'll get the title. Like in 3 months, whoever wins it, is gonna get the title. But I'll drive it for 3 months.
Dude, don't.
And then when I give away the Ferrari for a sales contest, it caused another $1 million in.
Fuck it, don't do that. I would say buy a Ferrari under the business, and whoever wins sales for that month, he can own the Ferrari for a month. and just let it rotate.
Then what's the point?
Just they can have a Ferrari for a month.
Who cares? What's the point?
Dude, everyone cares to ride a Ferrari for a month.
No, dude.
I think they do.
No. Well, then they're thinking small.
I mean, do a survey,
Yeah,
but
who gives a fuck? Drive a Ferrari for a month, dude. You can drive a Ferrari for a month right now. Go spend about, I don't know, probably cost you 45 G's at a $1,500 a day rental charge.
That's
you can rent them.
What
the question is how do you own it? Well, what you do is you win it outright. Then you own a Ferrari for life, not a month. However, if I want to justify Ferraris, I can do that with this business for sure. So
yeah. So let me tell you what I did. So my wife, she sat on the hood. The guy was filling our Ferrari with gas. I took a photo, and I put it on Instagram, and I put a caption underneath it. And I have a course that I built. Sometimes I give it to people for free, and sometimes I sell it. It depends on the person. If they're like a fucked up person, I say 149. If they're a good dude and they're trying to make it and they just literally want
to
the,
them sometimes.
Yeah, so I give it to them for free. It's called the Gateway for Online Business, which is basically everything I've done from when I came to the States, started from a phone and a laptop until I built a business, until it started producing $30,000 in revenue. So every person, every YouTube channel, every skill I learned to that time. And I put it in one course, and I sell it to people. So I put that photo, wrote a caption, because I was very emotional about it, like owning a Ferrari and whatever. Like, dude, till today, I can't believe it, right? But, I wrote a caption, and then I said, okay, you want to know how I did it? In 2 years, I've got this course, Gateway for Online Business, $149. I sold $3,000 of that post worth of courses.
Which made, now you're only 97,000 in the hole.
Yeah, 100%. But what the image is that.
Yeah, but have you made $100,000?
No, that's not the idea.
Well, then you're still in the old soup.
No, let me tell you, the purpose of the Ferrari for a nurse is that you cannot find a nurse that owns a Ferrari. Number one. Two, it's a sign of success. Because when I go to other nurse influencers online, which is my next step in marketing 2020. Right now, I market through social media, but there are those nurses who have like 100,000 subscribers on Instagram. Like, I didn't approach them yet because I'm not ready to scale. But when I approach them, tell them about my business and what I'm trying to do, and they check me out, check all the reviews, the testimonials, and then the Ferrari comes to say, oh, this is legit. Because that's what the Ferrari says.
The Ferrari says you're making money. You must be.
Yeah. So it's a sign of success.
So it's credibility.
100%. And what happens is they say, all right, I want a piece of it. And then we do.
So you weigh heavily the credibility the Ferrari gives you, and just the confidence and the feeling and all that good stuff.
100%.
Yeah, because again, Albert told me his story with his buying them and how he justifies them. And yeah, I mean, you could justify it like that, but is it real? The question is it's depends on who is asking, because I could probably show you that you haven't even paid that back yet, and that might have been a foolish investment. However, that's a limited mindset.
Yeah.
I'm more on Albert's side of things and your side of things, where I'm like, get the fucking Ferrari.
Yeah.
But again, don't justify getting a Ferrari because you want a Ferrari. Use the Ferrari if you get a Ferrari. Take those pictures, put it online.
100%.
You use it as leverage and proof that you are succeeding. Again, if that's what people consider success.
Yeah.
Because again, you see a lot of people on social media that have Bentleys, Ferraris, kick-ass houses, and they're broke. Why? Well, they still have $100,000 a month coming and going. Is that broke though? Because again, a lot of these influencers, they really do make $100,000, but they spend $100,000 to make the $100,000 to make you think they're rich. So really, they're just living broke, but at a high level. Dude, they get to live at a high level. Like, again, I mean, people want to hate on that. It's like, dude, look, first of all, they're driving Ferraris, they're driving Lambos. I remember when people used to talk shit about Ty Lopez.
Yeah.
Oh, he rents that house. Well, in fact, he does rent the house, but it was $100,000 a month, and he had to pay for it a year in advance. That's $1.2 million he had to have to rent that fucking house. So quit acting like renting it is fucking chump change, first of all, because renting it is impressive.
True.
Okay. He didn't fucking own it, didn't need to own it. His business plan was, let me get a house where I can make a bunch of content. look fucking really, really wealthy and really, really successful because all these fucking idiots will come for that. And it's true. They do.
True.
Now, all the haters. Oh, he rented that house. He rents those Ferraris. Well, number one, he didn't have Ferraris. He had a Lambo first, and it was a lease. And yes, it was leased. So what? That takes money.
100%.
Like you had to have 100 G's down, bro.
Yeah, dude.
But get a Ferrari is not like Albert got lucky that one of his tricks worked for you. Because what if you were the dude that gave him your last 5-10 grand or whatever it cost you to coach, and he says, go get a Ferrari, and you're like, fuck, I ain't got credit, dude. I got a fucking 500 Isaac score.
Yeah.
Okay, well then a Ferrari's out of the question. What was his second ace card up his sleeve? Like, go get a Ferrari and use it. What else was there? Hire by two. You know, how many tricks or tips is necessary before you get 5-10 grand worth? Shit could be one of 100 that someone's learned along the way. How do you know Albert was good enough to pay? Well, because, dude, is Albert doing better or doing what you want, or has he achieved what you're looking for? And if the answer is yep, well then you fucking stroke a check and start asking questions.
Yeah. And you know what I would suggest before hiring a mentor, like if it's your, like, you only have 5 to 10K, dude, don't go freaking hire a mentor. Like, there's a lot of basic shit that you need to learn. What I would say, invest that in your education. Just figure out who is selling a course, like who's doing good that you like to be like, for example,
Billie Jean.
Albert, for example, Albert. Like, I want to be like Albert. Okay, Albert, is he teaching a course? Okay, so
on how to be like Albert?
100%. So because he has a course on light speed, right?
Sure he does.
So
you know why?
Driven Academy. Why?
You know why he does?
Why?
Because I'm his motherfucking coach.
Yeah. Oh.
No, I'm just joking.
Yeah, but you know, like if you have limited amount of money, don't give that to a coach, right? Go spend it on education that coach is teaching, and then you upgrade. And okay, now I know all the basic shit. Because, dude, guess what? If you go and spend that 1 hour with him, he's gonna give you all the basics. But if you learn the basics on your own time and then invest in those, you know, gold nuggets, then it will make a difference.
Yeah, it does.
Yeah,
for sure. Why? Because again, I don't normally charge people. Like, you become a client of mine, I end up liking you. I've spent an hour and a half on a phone talking to somebody, changed their whole business model, and boom, blew them up. You know, Grant is a good example. Like, when I met Grant, dude, he was just training car salesman on the road 250 days a year, about ready to get divorced.
Yeah,
like miserable. Then the stock market, so his real estate took a shit too. So I showed him how to freaking package up that knowledge, deliver it to businesses, track, measure, monitor it, how to price it, how to sell it, how to build it, how to turn it into all this, you know, 10X events and shit. Then he started making just a killing.
Yeah.
Which then built his brand, which then allowed him to build this cap hedge fund, basically, this Cardone Capital.
Yeah.
And now he's back to doing what he loves, which is real estate, because he never really liked to train people anyway.
Yeah, yeah. And that, dude, so 2008, when you showed him how to do that, that's a turning point. Dude, since I came to the States, it has been always turning points. So I'm not like married to one strategy or one person, or
but you're willing to take action, which is what matters.
That's what I tell people. The speed of execution, it's everything in business. If you have an idea and you don't put it on paper, and then after the paper you don't execute on it, dude, it'll say an idea. Right? I know you have tons of ideas that now, you know, people executed on it and they became like millionaires, multimillionaires, right? But it's that thing. Like, people think, like, now they see me, because now people discover me and they say they see the Ferrari and, you know, living in San Diego, and I'm a nurse, international nurse, whatever, but they don't know what went through it. I was showing him pictures, like a video when I was living on the floor, like a mattress, just holding my phone, watching YouTube videos, and just visualizing my life. How would it be when I come to the United States? Like today, dude, I've been visualizing today for 2 years. When I'm running on the road, like for my 45 minutes, I'm running on the road, I'm listening to you, and dude, I visualize myself sitting right here. And then what I do, not just visualize, like, okay, I'm sitting right here, like I know the microphone, I know the desk, I know you're sitting in front of me. Not just that, but I visualize and feel the emotion that I have during that moment, right? So I know that, oh my God, like Like, this is unreal. Like, I'm here. Like, this is Brad Lee. Like, dude, it's crazy. I get excited. For 2 years, I've been getting that excited every single day.
Yeah, but that's why it's happening.
That 100%.
That's laws of attraction.
And dude, I don't like exotic cars. I've never thought about owning a Ferrari, but I've thought about owning a Ferrari as an example of things that you can, put as your affirmations. And like when I talk to people, especially when I was working with Billie Jean, I did a lot of live trainings, right? And Zoom calls and whatever. People like my energy, like my emotion, like how driven I am. And, I always tell them, like, dude, if your goal is to own a Ferrari, just live that goal every single day. Feel the emotion. Just hear yourself, pushing the gas pedal, right? If you take yourself through that emotion every single day, guess what? It's going to happen. If you don't quit, it's going to happen. And everything in life, me coming to the United States and, chasing success and plan, like, dude, I already know that I'm friends with Andy. I'm friends with Ed Milet. I see myself every morning, I practice my gratitude and, my affirmations. And I see myself, at Ed Milet's house, Laguna Beach, on the Porsche, leaning on that glass and just taking it all in and feeling the emotion. Oh my God, I'm friends with Ed.
Well, you could have already done that had you stepped up to the syndicate.
Yeah, man, that's the only thing that I regret. Dude, every single day I practice my gratitude and I say, and I have that email printed out, hanged on my wall.
I'll be with Andy next weekend in St. Louis, and I'll tell him, dude, if you want to let somebody in, I know someone that'll pay right now. Yeah. Would you pay right when I tell him? And he says, I'll get it.
Heartbeat.
You'll pay the same day.
In a heartbeat.
Well, then I'm gonna ask Andy, because I never ask people for favors. I'm gonna ask Andy for one favor, only to show you that, like, you never know. Sometimes you the relationship you have is the one connected to the one you need.
True.
So you're one relationship away.
You just need to, unlearn, as you say, unlearn a lot of stuff that, your parents taught you, and just be open to learn new stuff, right? And just learn from people who made it. And dude, just execute on, like, dude, if you say something on your podcast, I'll be foolish not to take action on it, because I know that's what works. Like, I've got hours and thousands of hours of mentorship from you, from your podcast, for free.
See that?
Because every single podcast, there's at least
you owe me $50,000,
2 or 3 nuggets that you drop, right, dude? It's real.
Well, that's the point of the podcast, because I just want to make sure that when people are out there coming up after me, they don't have to take as long, or feel as much pressure or pain. Why? Well, because, dude, I'm just dropping knowledge behind me, and when people come through here, I grab guys like you. Like, dude, there's nurses listening to this, going, dude, I mean, right now there's nurses listening to Dropping Bombs. I bet you anything.
Yeah.
Well, you just helped a couple of them. Why? Because I decided to get 2 microphones and start inviting people to share knowledge. But anyway, folks, listen, go follow him. Instagram's @AlphaSlice. Facebook, RN Alpha Slice, Alpha Slice, Alpha Slice. He's Alpha Slice everywhere except Facebook. There's RN Alpha Slice. Plus, he's got a YouTube channel. Guess what it's under? Alpha Slice. Like a slice of alpha. But anyway, appreciate you coming, dog.
Thank you, Brad.
Ladies and gentlemen, go out and share this podcast with somebody that you know, love, and trust. And as always, keep it real.